So they're
Omega to make a statement. But as of yet, this is going to be game number 2 between Omega as well as RRQ Hoshi.
Now, with the compositions that they have set in stone here for both teams, they do have a lot of layers to it, right? Because we have RRQ Hoshi on one hand with really extreme crowd control, but on the other hand, they have KhufRa as well. So in terms of composition, Fel, who do you prefer more?
looking at the composition, I would say again RRQ, honestly, just because the way that they have to play this game is a little bit easier compared to Omega, because they have to do a lot of mechanical outplays to get anything happen in the game, because like KhufRa has to make sure that he gets on the correct target, and the same thing can be said about Ryzen. He has to go in, he has to survive, and he has to give enough space for Ch4knu to deal out the damage. And right now, in a fight earlier stages of the game, but so far
just targeted on towards Albert, and we talked about how his link is just a force to begin with, and I feel like Omega, they're just focusing on Albert a little bit too much on the drafts, but hopefully it is going to work out. But now, Ch4knu with the engagements onto his win, is there going to be any sort of follow-up coming from Omega? Seems like they are not going to continue, as Albert just hit his 4 just right in their faces. They do not want to overcommit to this stage.
I mean, in the early game, I feel like in that mid side, RRQ Hoshi is a bit on the behind. Just saying, because that's a Cillian, he needs a little bit more items. He needs a little bit more scaling potential to be able to deal out the damage that is required of him. Meanwhile, Eve can just slow and use her utility from the get-go, especially when she hits.
RRQ Hoshi as well, been a little bit afraid to do so as well. Ryzen does have the kill potential to do and punish, but it seems like there is going to be a split fight on towards the purple buff as well. Albert still trying to secure his purple buff, but looks like he is going to lose out on the Retribution War, and Ryzen will come on top. Now, opportunity has been presented itself as well. Albert popping Tempest Blade. He does not have the immunity, and this is Omega's time to shine as they finally pop the Revolution, catches off Clay, and now R7 is in a very, very awkward situation. Renzo is trying to ego challenge his fight, eventually waits for Ryzen to save the day as Ryzen completely snowballs them all out. So this is the opportunity that Omega has been looking forward to.
Double kill for the side of Omega, now leading with a 1,000 gold lead, and that is it. That's exactly what we need to see.
Omega, they started off being very aggressive, but how aggressive is aggressive? I want them to pick it up a little bit as well, but I want them to focus on one lane, get 2 turrets, and then they can properly set up a map control situation, making sure that Clay and Skylar will have a difficult time to actually position themselves.
Agreed. Smart plays coming from RRQ as well, not contesting the second turtle, knowing that this does not worth it. They have to play a little bit more on their next level.
Is coming in from RRQ Hoshi. I do understand that they need to be a little bit more patient because they're waiting for those power spikes to show, especially that they do have the Sicilian. But how patient do they have to be? Because they're basically conceding all these objectives on the board just so easily onto Omega, right? 1 turtle, 2 turtles have actually already been taken by the side of Omega, 1 turret to their name as well. And what can RRQ Hoshi do? Because sure, give them the objective in those neutral objectives like the turtle, but look for some compensations on the board. If Omega wants to rotate, look for some mirror movements. I think that's something that they need to do. They want to avoid fights, but they're losing a little bit too much in the process.
Pay attention to the mini-map right now. As you can see, Ch4knu is so far back. He's trying to find a setup to go in for the engagements as well in case RRQ Hoshi decides to back off. And seems like Omega, they want to try and force a fight right now before it happens, but Ch4knu, look at this. He's going for the range. He does catch onto his Clay, and here comes the setup. Albert was too busy with the purple buff, cannot do anything at all, and that's going to be Omega going for the perfect catch. Ch4knu, what an amazing game sense coming in.
6 minutes in, already 3-0, so once again, Omega really...
Right now, especially since Clay is using the sprint, not a Purify, so once KhufRa gets on top of him, there's not really anything that he can do. But aside of RRQ Hoshi, I kind of feel like they should try to take an opportunity to outplay mechanically wise, because again, these players are super talented. I feel like if they force a fight, they could potentially do something with it. I don't know, that's just me.
I definitely agree, but RRQ Hoshi, they've tried to wait for the moment before the third turtle coming. They needed Albert on that purple buff before reading the setup, for the setup as well, and Omega was able to actually catch them off guard, and that was so smart, especially coming from Ch4knu spot, which is on the bottom left on the screen.
And right now, the real inflation has been set up, and R7 is going straight on to Ch4knu. Ch4knu taking a lot of damage. Finn is being chunked down as well. And look at KhufRa. KhufRa going straight for Skylar. So far, no kills have been had. Only Ch4knu has been taken down. But for the side of RRQ Hoshi, they're still healthy. But they're not really trying to get any more out of this fight. They still just want to farm.
Omega is playing it so disciplined as well. They're not giving
Albert as well as Raisin. Raisin's level 12. Albert is also level 11. It's not that far behind, so it's still a very doable situation. It's all about buying for the time. But as of yet, RQ, they're going to make an attempt here down bottom. Renzo's all by himself, but this is an annoying Paquito. Meanwhile, mid-late, however, Skylar is going to take a little bit too much damage, but it seems like Omega will not press the issue. So that is going to be a failed attempt coming from Omega to get a little bit more out of this situation.
But look at those minions really pushing it in that top side. And another turret has been secured for the side of Omega. So more space, more objectives on the board, and more of that gold lead as now they are turning their focus into this next
Oh no,
war.
Albert! Whoa. Albert, what are you thinking? He's going for a Tempest Blade. He's down to 1 HP. He tried to go for the steal. Unfortunately, doesn't have enough to take. Look at him. He's going to make a run for it as well. But seems like the rest of the team coming from Omega will just completely say, Albert is not here. Let's just kill whoever is in front of us. And they will take R7 with him. Omega continues.
Based on the itemization that they have, they're really slowing down the game. But I do want to see Clay. I hope in this, even in installing the game out, he's getting a lot of stacks because we really need Clay to step up right now to make sure that Omega does not end the game.
Oh, Rezio, he's going to get caught off. This is going to make the opportunity that RRQ Oshi has been eyeing for, but the Lord is still knocking on the top side. Real Moonlight comes in. KhufRa does have the crossbow tanks. R7 is going to be able to back out. Vin looking to re-engage. The post coming from Clay is going to be able to clean out the minions here. Ch4knu losing a little bit too much damage. Albert finally shows himself, but he just doesn't have enough damage to do anything. They're just so as well. It's relatively healthy, especially for tier 1, so there's just so much map control coming from Omega. And who could blame RRQ?
Is positioning himself. It looks like he will get them before they can actually go towards KhufRa or E2max.
Oh, this might be the go-to plan as well. Albert's about to hit the 15. With the Trunking up on Clay means they can try and prolong this fight. However, KhufRa, he will be able to park the crossbow tanks. R7 is forced to run for his life. Here comes the crossbow tanks, and R7 might actually fall right here, and that is going to be it. RRQ Hoshi a little bit afraid to do so, but KhufRa is going to be so far away from the rest of the teams as he gets bound up, and that is going to be a well-worth it trade. A marksman for an XP laner, but can they get a little bit more? However, Omega, they reset the Lord. They could not get those objectives, so this is a small window of an opportunity for RRQ to come back because of that play.
Yeah, huge play there coming in and a little bit too overcommitted from the side of KhufRa. Sure, you get a pick on the board, but losing yourself in the process was not a good trade. And now it does seem like Omega, they still want to continue with the process of oppression, but unfortunately, with the way that RRQ Hoshi now starting to reach their power spikes, I'm actually quite interested to see how far of itemization Clay has actually gone into as Albert goes in very aggressively here.
No, looks like they are going to force the play as well. KhufRa just got back from the base. He needs to run all the way back here to back up Omega. RRQ, they are thinking about going for the fights as well. The ball bearers do isolate the fight, but they are a little bit afraid because of how low Albert's HP is, and he doesn't even have the purple buff. Seems like it's playing it safe once again coming from RRQ Hoshi and Omega. They understand this. They are going to try and force the Lord here. Vin trying to reset the Lord. Unfortunately, not going to happen with the Guardian's Barrier as of yet, but the Lord down to his 10% threshold. Where is Albert? They need him on the sides, but no, he got stopped at the track on the sides as well, and he almost pays the price as Omega was ready to stop him in his track for his cheeky play. Albert going for the recall. Renzio a little...
Lord is marching up. Omega, this is their game to lose.
Uh-oh, R7, he almost got the proc with the crossbow tanks. Omega can't seem to abuse it as well, but RRQ Hoshi, they're holding on with the inhibitor, trying to chip away at the Lord and try and stall this as much as they can. And that was a very quick lockdown, clear down onwards the Lord as of yet. But RRQ Hoshi, they're still trying their best. Ch4knu conceal from the sides. He wants to go in for the catch, but it is still two very tanky heroes. So playing it safe. Omega, they don't want to force more as well.
And now Omega looks like they're going in.
Yep, this is it. Skylar, he will be forcing a flicker as well. Vin is going to be first to fall. R7 trying to make a little bit more as well. KhufRa forcing crossbow attacks. They need to back out. They have nothing as well. And this is going to be RQ trying to force the fight. But R7 taking a little bit too much damage. Albert shows me the Temples of Blade. Can they get the kill? No, they cannot. Ryzen with the Trunking Clutch is going to completely negate all this damage. And RRQ Hoshi, they will lose 4. And it's only up to Clay, and Omega will come up on top just like that, as they will close out game number 2 potentially, as Clay, the last man standing, not going to be able to do too much as Omega bounce back and tie the series against RRQ Hoshi.
The defending champion.
I'm